officially live. Welcome to another episode of the Biz Breakthroughs Podcast. Super excited to have Dr. Look, I can't even barely say the word, honey. Dr. Sonia. Am I saying that right?
You are saying it. Yep, you got it. My mother would say Sonia, Dr. Sonia, but I'm like, no, that's an extra syllable. So I'm good with Dr. Sonia. Yep, that's cool.
I like either or, but Dr. Sonia, we're gonna run with Sonia because I talk fast. I've been messed up all the syllables, honey. We have her here with us today. Super excited. Love her energy. It makes total sense that your brand is called Jump First because you have this like electrifying energy that literally makes people want to be like, listen, let me just go do the thing. Let me stop playing and do the thing. So I'm super excited to have you here today to talk about online courses and how to build them, how to put them together, how to make them effective, and all of the good things. So thank you. I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do, and how you got started today.
Cool. I appreciate that. I appreciate the warmth in the room. I know we are virtual, but I can feel it. So, I'm always a fan of that. I'm big on energy and positivity. And so my name is Dr. Sonia or Sonia, as my mother would say. And I got started. So what I basically do, the name of my business and brand is Jump First and Jump First Academy. And so what I basically do is to help creative CEOs, entrepreneurs, business owners to package their expertise. Now, we know the word expert can be daunting to quite a few people, right? When you first hear it, but it just comes down to your lived experiences and your knowledge, right? And so this is knowledge that you've gained through those experiences as well as some formal education. And so I helped folks to package up expertise into the format of online courses and luxury coaching programs so that they can deliver the knowledge and the expertise, their experiences in a way that truly leaves lasting impact. So that's always been my thing. And anything that I've done, I got into this. I kind of fell into it, to be honest. I did not know that my gift was teaching for a long time. Helped my mom form her nonprofit in 2005. And from there, she wanted me to put together seminars and workshops. And we did some retreats for youth as well as for adults. And so it was really fun. I took that gift for granted, like we all do sometimes. The thing that comes natural to us or naturally, we tend to kind of just assume the rest of the world can do it the same way. And that is part of what I do, is to show people like yourselves, you guys who are viewing this, that there is no one who can do you like you. So that's very, very important. So I was helping my mom put together these workshops and seminars and retreats and all sorts of stuff. And then fast forward, I got into creating life skills curriculum and things like that for different businesses, curricula, I should say, for different businesses, brands, nonprofits specifically. And then I started teaching at university in 2014. So fast forward, some years had gone by and it still didn't click until one day the chair of my department asked me to develop a course. And I ended up turning that course out within about a week or so. It was done. It was ready. And she sat me down and she's like, this is a gift. Not a lot of people can do this. And I'm like, oh, I should be doing this for myself. And, I got fed up with corporate culture and 9-to-5s and all the bureaucracy and red tape and things I couldn't do. And, like you said, Coach Stephanie, you see my page. So, I'm very much like all over the board when it comes to my energy and the way that I flow. And so I knew I needed to step out and do it for myself. And so Jump First was founded. And I figured, you can't ask someone else to jump unless you are willing to lead by example. And so that's exactly what we do at Jump First.
Yes, I love all of that. I love how you were able to still, find your gift and discover it through the process. I tell people like purpose could be a little tricky sometimes. And I think people feel like, first of all, I think my number one tip is to ask the question. I think most people don't ask. And I had to go through like a season of like prayer of like, God, reveal to me my purpose. But even in finding out that I needed to start with asking the right questions and be really intentional, I think I also realized like purpose is a process of becoming, and it's revealed to us over time. Like who I am today, I know 5 years, probably next year, I'm not even going to be the same girl because that's how quick I move, right? This fire is very, I'm go. If you know me today, you don't know me tomorrow.
That's right.
But I think people get tripped up sometimes with just understanding that process and like who you used to be, even through everything that you've been through and everything that you've done. It uncovered little by little by little, which led you to being able to take the opportunity. And then, of course, we have to be the ones to do it first. We have to lead by example. So, of course, your own challenge of recognizing that I need to go out and do my own thing, and then building up the courage and the tenacity and all the things to actually go do it is now what you help, essentially a part of what you help people do with Jump First. So I just think that's super, super, super dope. I'm very grateful that you did Jump First, honey, because there is a lot of people that need help with online course building.
Yes.
But I love the unique perspective that you come with it, and I love the energy that you have behind it. But I want to know from you, like, what do you love about online courses, and why are they like really a smart choice for entrepreneurs to make a substantial income? I don't think online courses is for every single person in the world, but I do think like if you're called to create something that is going to just help people where you may not necessarily have to show up all the time, or maybe you do want to show up, there's like a lot of options on the table for people that can help them make money. So what are your thoughts about that?
Very, very good question. I love this question. So what I do with online courses, I always tell people, if you're in it for the money, you're in it for the wrong reason. And it's not because there is not money. Okay. It's very, very lucrative. And I know that if you have thought about an online course, or you've just spent some time online for a little bit, then you've probably seen courses jump out at you, whether they are relevant to you or not. You know, sometimes they are paying attention to what we're typing in the search bar. Okay. And you'll see a course later on, you're visiting some Amazon something, and it's like, take this course. And I think they even have courses now, right? And so the point being is that when you're creating courses, you're taking, remember, I talked about expertise being your knowledge and your lived experiences, right? So you're literally boiling down essentially your past 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, however long you've been doing the thing that you want to teach on to a person over, maybe 6 weeks. And that's not to say, the thing about packaging content, you're not putting everything okay, into one course. Like, that's the beauty of courses, is that courses focus on that deep, long-term, sustainable impact. And so that's what you need to lead with first. And then the money follows that. I know we hear it time and time again. Money follows passion, money follows purpose, do what you love, but it's absolutely true, right? If you get into this and your only aim is, okay, let me create a course to make money, you're going to attract people typically, right, who are interested in giving their money for a quick return. They want a quick, let me do something real fast and get this turnaround. But is that sustainable? Because then you run into issues of, industry standard is like 3% for refunds, right? Chargebacks, those sorts of things. Well, you don't see that when you start leading with impact and also teaching premium. So those higher level courses and coaching programs, which is what I focus on, you don't see a lot of chargeback or returns, because the focus isn't the money in the first place, right? You're also attracting a different type of audience. And so it's really good as an entrepreneur, starting out. I remember when I first started, that was the thing that it was, that's why I kind of started, it's like I was tired to replace my income. But I also knew that there was something as far as my gift, right? And again, you like summed it up perfectly, Coach Stephanie, where you're like, it took years to really hone that and recognize that this is a purpose, this is a gift. So I knew there was, the impact was there, but I also knew, hey, if I learn the marketing skills behind this, I can also turn this into something very lucrative that will give me the freedom that I want as an entrepreneur, and then will transition me into a business owner, right? Where I can successfully operate the business, work on the business and not in it. And so that's where the switch flipped for me. I always have to stop and pause to say that, because I'm always like, the flip switch, the switch flipped. So it's leading with the impact first, and then you allow the money to come. But you got to figure out what's the passion, what's the purpose behind you wanting to do this, and then what is the impact that you can have, the long-lasting, sustainable impact that you can have on someone else's life, and then you charge according to the transformation that you're able to provide, which is how you're able to then charge those premium prices.
Right. I love that. That's so in alignment with my thought process. A big part of like my million slogans that I have for my business. But one of them is impact over income, or service before sales. Like, it's just so important. I had this long conversation. Let me just let the world know. Let me be very transparent. if I wake up 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, I talk my husband's ear off about my thoughts, right? It's just like I have this flood. I don't know if it's because the atmosphere and like that spiritual veil between us and God is so thin at that hour that I can like receive so much. But it's like God just floods me with so much wisdom at that time. And so I had watched something. I really like Dr. Myron Golden. So I listened to a lot of his stuff. But everything that he says is not always in alignment with my truth or how I feel like I'm designed to show up. So I watched something recently and he talked about how people just don't need to be, going off the ideas that they have in their head or just because they want to do it. But when we look at it, first of all, he's a man and men are more masculine in their approach to business. Let me just start there. And so they tend to be less heartfelt and less mission focused and more about financial security. And I understand that they're the head of the household. Their objective and their purpose is to provide for their family. So of course, that's where their attention is. But as with us being female entrepreneurs and women of God, I do believe that we have such a luxury and a freedom to be mission filled, to be forward thinking with our purpose and aligning that with the businesses that we create, which makes sense completely because that's why so much women's empowerment and, we stand up for one another. It's like, where's the latest men's empowerment about? I'm trying to get my husband to have one because he's like a really good role model.
Yes.
We're like, babe, you need to do something for the guys. He's like, I don't care about none of that. I care about these stocks today. I care about doing my little, my little coaching stuff. Like, I am not trying to have no men's empowerment, but we are so much more heartfelt. And so I think when it comes to sharing our gifts with the world, especially when we are going to package something that's supposed to support someone, even with something small, like even if I was teaching a Chat GPT course, whatever the impact that I want to create, I need to look for like the deeper mission behind the thing, because I think people get lost sometimes and they feel like, oh, I'm just creating this little, this little course to help people with Canva or to teach graphic design. Like there's purpose behind that. And I think when you take time to actually like figure out what that deeper mission is, now we create something that's so much more effective. And that is really going to create that impact. And we're not so focused on the sales. I always believe that we should make our work about who it is that we have to serve. And like you said, the abundance is just going to come because we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So I think that's just so in alignment. I love that thought process behind how you actually show people to create online courses. And I think it should be just so much more of that. Okay. But let me move on. So I know that when I put my first little course together, honey, that thing was raggedy. Let me just say that. It was called Building a Brand That Glows. The graphics were ugly. Like, it was just a hot mess. Let me just say that.
That's okay.
It was so ugly. And of course, I've evolved. I've gotten way better. I've gotten deeper with understanding how to put things together. And you were totally right with understanding like, oh, I not only need to know how to put the course together, but I need to know how to market it. I need to actually know how to do real business, which is one of the things that I really focus on is like the healing work, the inner work, the mindset work, and the spiritual work in conjunction with being real CEOs. But like that first course, honey, trash. I'm so I would never pull that thing out the box. But I know that it was really bad. I'm not even gonna lie. I can really say that. But I had to overcome some stuff. I was nervous. I was kind of new to coaching. And I was like, oh my goodness, nobody's gonna buy it. Or what if it's not good enough? What if it doesn't work? And like all of these things that I wouldn't say delayed my progress because I am one of those people. I literally jump first without looking. Like I don't even care. So I'll have the thoughts, but I'm still gonna do it. But I know that it can really hold people back from putting out good things and being comfortable with it not being the best version, because I don't like, first of all, nobody's first version is the best version. It evolves, you tweak and you get better over time, but like they won't ever do it. And so many people are missing that. So like, what do you see most entrepreneurs that you work with tend to have to overcome to get started with launching their online course in the first place?
Excellent. You hit it on the nail, right? Like it is the confidence piece. It's nothing else but that, because again, you already have the expertise. Who can tell you what you experienced? I always talk about, I'm the oldest of 3 girls. So God bless my dad, right? We grew up in the same house, same mom, same dad. We went to a lot of family events, back and forth. Both my parents, we grew up in Delaware. Both my parents are from Pennsylvania. And so a lot of family events we had to travel to, and we got to see everybody. And, I think back to some of those family reunions and barbecues, or just visiting auntie's house, or grandma's house, and you can come to, even though we grew up in the same household, same mom, same dad, you can come to each of me and my siblings and ask us what happened on a particular day, time, at an event, and we're going to tell you something different. Okay, like the story may be similar. There may be key points that stand out and are along the same path, but we're going to tell you something different because we all heard something different, saw something different, felt something different. No one else can take your experience from you, and so if no one can take this experience and no one can know what it is that through those experiences, then why aren't we putting out our unique perspective into this world? It really comes down to the confidence, or the lack thereof. And a lot of times this lack of confidence is coming from comparison. You hop online. I did it when I first started, and I saw, people who were 2 years, 4 years, 10 years ahead of me even, but you don't think like that when you're just getting started, even as a very successful CEO or business owner, which are most of my clients, they're corporate executives or they're, CEOs of their own companies and brands, but there's still this level or layer of confidence when you're starting something new or trying something new. Is how do I move past the mindset block? How do I move past, like, yeah, I've done all these amazing things. I've gotten my degrees. I've raised my kids. I've started a family. I've been a wife. I've traveled. I'm well traveled. I'm well mannered. All of these things that we do so well. And I saw a post not too long ago where someone was asking about how we can be so successful in specific areas and then still lacking or have a scarcity mindset in others. And this is true. These are places where when the light comes on, we find out that we are underdeveloped in these areas, and when we have an opportunity to see these areas of underdevelopment, I believe that we need to step into those, or jump into those, both feet, so that we can develop those areas. So a lot of times it's just a lack of confidence just because someone has never created a course before. Someone has never actually formatted a formal piece of training to give to someone else. You can have mentees all day long that are, not paid. I believe in paid mentorship as well. And a lot of people are like, what? Paid mentorship is a thing as well. But we have a lot of mentees, a lot of people that we're giving advice to constantly. But now it's time to package that advice up and then be able to offer it to a broader market. And that, in and of itself, just thinking about sharing experiences, life experiences, whether you are, and I always say, teach from scars, not wounds, right? So places that you've healed from. And even that can be a barrier because it's like, wait, I'm supposed to share more of my life. How often are we used to working with business owners, CEOs, high-level executives that are on go all the time for the business, but then that personal side is like, no, I don't know if I want to share that. Right. And online courses, they kind of put you in a space where now it's time to share that. And so a lot of the people I work with are at that point where they want to take that next step to share that side of them, to do something that is most fulfilling. Not that their work isn't, but something that's going to take that and elevate that, right? Take it to the next level. So they are more fulfilled. They want to do it, but the confidence piece, or that piece of, I've never seen anybody else do this, or this isn't traditionally what we do in society. Even conversations around these taboo topics like money and things like that. It's like, we need to get that stuff out of the corners, the dark corners, and put it in the light. All right. So that we can, again, heal. And also so that we are able to provide some sense of equity and equality. How are we going to level up? How are we going to elevate if we are keeping everything in the dark? So that's the piece that typically a lot of folks struggle with, is how do I get the confidence to start putting this online? And oh my gosh, I'm serving people that I don't even know, who are global, that's the thing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I had to do a lot of inner work wrapped around my gifts, and it still took me like years to get it together. I think honestly, recently is the best I've actually felt as far as like owning my authority and owning, who it is that God created me to be. But I think I talked about this on another episode, but I took myself through this process. Actually, one of my coaches actually had me do it first. But anytime I create something new, I go back and look at all my experience and, my gifts and how everything is tied together, because I really need to just like affirm within myself that like, oh, this is going to be something good and I am actually called to do it. And I
Yeah.
think the more and more that people can anchor themselves into trusting what it is that God has placed within them, and then really fishing through their experience, and everything isn't going to be so black and white. Like I had to really do some searching to really see like, oh, wow, I've been doing this way longer than I even thought about being a coach. And
Yes.
like when you can get your logical mind wrapped around something that's happening like spiritually within you, it's like, oh, I can launch something and do this. And it makes complete sense why I'm the one that's supposed to do it. So hopefully everybody just really just steps into that space of continuously working on their confidence. But I'm positive that's something that you are gifted to support people through as they begin to put their online courses together. So I think that's dope that you help people in that manner too, because it's so important. One thing
Absolutely.
I have noticed, you did mention that like so many courses popped up. Okay, we know the pandemic is responsible, and I'm not gonna be up here sounding like a hater, okay? But I have been burned by bad courses, okay? And
Mhm.
like I said, my first one was trash, but it wasn't that it wasn't helpful, it just wasn't like put together well, if that makes sense. So I
Absolutely.
think a lot of times it could be a little bit of a mixture between, and I hate to say, but people just wanting to do something because everybody else is doing it. And like, oh, let me just figure out a thing that I can put together and sell. And they don't really care, like you said, about the impact. Or it could be the lack of the knowledge to put together and piece together something well. So now I have like spreadsheets and Google Docs and a whole process that I go through to really like align my course with the results that I want people to get.
Nice.
But what are like some tips that you can share? Just some like beginner friendly tips that you can share to help people not only make their course actually effective, but also make it profitable.
Yeah, very, very good. I love this question. And I'm so excited that your experience has helped you to start
Yeah.
to like hone that in, and it really is that.
Where were you back, girl?
Yeah,
Where was you at 2020 when I needed you, honey? Because that thing, you would have been like, Steph, no, ma'am, we're gonna have to redo this.
that's okay though, right? Like again, it takes doing. And I think that would be my first tip is you're not gonna know what needs to change or how to effectively serve your audience until you step out there and start doing it. Essentially. Now, yeah, like working with an expert like myself, someone who is adept to putting together courses and things like that, and working with you seriously, right? And not just having you in this big group of hundreds of thousands of people, which I think is just the wrong way to go about courses, especially today, if you are focused on lasting impact. Now, if you're focused on band-aid solutions or right now, let's give a temporary fix, then so be it. I just don't think that that is a very effective way to go about it. But to make the course most effective and profitable, both all in one, you can hit it with just one thing is you start with the end in mind. Stop beginning your courses from the beginning, right? Like from, okay, let me figure out where did I start? Because sometimes the people that you're serving aren't starting where you started. Sometimes they're starting somewhere in the middle of your journey, right? And so you got to start with the end in mind. What's the result that you actually want people to have? And that means if you're starting with the end in mind, and I design all my courses this way, they're backwards. Most people talk about hosting platforms. Most people talk about packaging the content first. Most people, and maybe you made the same mistake, because I made the mistake getting started as well, Coach Stephanie, where I basically packaged things up and then found out that my students didn't need the things that I packaged up. And they're like, we don't need that part, but we do need more of this over here. And so most people are so focused on packaging, hosting platforms. Someone reached out to me earlier today about I just need to know the best hosting platform to launch. And I'm like, well, if you're asking me that question, then your launch is not effective and it's likely not going to be profitable because you don't focus on that first. You're focused on your people first.
Right.
That's it. The focus is people. The focus is impact. The focus is how do I show up and serve? Because you better believe that when you take care of people, people also take care of you. Like I just believe in that. You give, right, to receive. And that's just it. And so it's one of those things where, I don't focus on hosting. I don't focus on content first. We focus on the marketing piece first, actually, because your marketing is not just sales. Like those things are different, right? So your marketing piece is actually figuring out how to best serve your people. And so when you start with the end in mind, that makes it both effective and profitable. And that's the simple version.
Yeah, I love all of that. It's definitely important. It's something that I like really had to learn and do. Like I put together a whole thing, honey, and it was like a waste of time,
Mhm.
essentially. And so now I do look at like, okay, well, what is that result that I'm really going for? And how can I backtrack? And, the thing that I love about online courses, and especially because you do like premium price online courses, is so much flexibility in how you deliver this thing. And it doesn't look just one way, but like you can't even get the vision or know how to build it. It's like putting together a house with no blueprint. I have no idea like what this house needs to look like. What kind of floors am I going to put down? What color am I going to paint? Like I can't even put together content or pick a platform because I don't even know how I may need to deliver this for it to be effective and to get
Exactly.
this end result. So I think that's just so smart to work backwards. I mean, it is a process. This is why we need you, honey, because
Yes,
it's
because
not something that people can just, I mean,
that's
I
right.
said on the last episode, honey, Chat GPT can only take you but so
That's
far.
right.
And it's so different working with another human being. Like I think it's a way to use certain tools like AI and things like that. But when you are working with someone that like this is their gift, they can see things that you can't see. They can see things that definitely a robot can't see, that's giving you a generic answer based on society's general way of doing things. But what if God called you to be different? Then what do
Mhm,
you do about that? And you
mhm.
can't even enter into that space because you aren't taking time to work with a real human being that can receive downloads from God to instruct you on how to move next. That's a story for another day. I'm gonna go there right now. Okay. But
That
that is really, really good. Start from the end, work your way backwards.
That's it.
And so I know the marketing piece is really important. And I know people definitely want to get their online courses out there and start making sales. What is some advice that you can give? Like, okay, now that we've got this course, it's amazing. We like ready to go. We feel good about it. How do we actually start making money from this thing?
Yeah, so it's exactly back to the last point, right? Is you want to start with the end in mind, meaning that you need to market first. So before you have your course put together, before you package it, before you focus on content, hosting platforms, all of that, your marketing. And in your marketing, right? Again, PhD, researcher by nature, I can't help myself, right? And so your marketing it involves research. Like, and most people are leaving that out. When you see the gurus online, social media telling you all about post 3 to 5 times per day.
Oh my
Well, the
God.
reason that my clients, yeah, we don't do that. Like we
Right.
don't have to do that unless we want to. Right now, there are
Mhm.
some seasons where I feel like, oh, 2 posts today because I'm just feeling it, right?
I'm
I got
feeling a little
something I need to
frisky.
say.
Just want to give it to them.
Right. But 3 to 5 times per day is excessive.
Right.
And the reason that this is happening is because what the gurus aren't telling you is that there's research involved, right? Like you don't just go look at insights to look at them. It's you
Mhm.
analyze the analytics, and that's the part that they're leaving out. And so that's the piece, right? It's just starting with the end in mind. Don't focus on all the extras, like and like you mentioned, the house colors, the colors you're going to paint the walls, where the refrigerator and the stove goes. Like you need the framework first. You
Mhm.
like for that house, you need like where are the bolts and nuts and the beams, like where are those things at, right? Like
Mhm.
where, because when you build a solid foundation, then you can build anything on top of that. And that is why, we're 5+ years in, which I'm super excited about.
Mhm.
And also why a lot of my clients, thank you, a lot of my clients are scaling to 6 figures in less than a year, right? Is because the foundation is sturdy. So when I know we built a solid foundation, now we can build anything on top of that. And we don't have to worry about it crashing in and having to rebuild, because let's say one floor of that house is like, we don't really know about that, but we tried it. It was nice. We can just swipe that floor and rebuild that floor. It's not rebuilding all 5 floors that led up to the 6, right?
Right.
Like you don't have to do that. And so it's just starting with the end in mind. Don't focus on the framework. Don't focus on the pretty flowery stuff, right? Focus on the framework and focus on serving your people. That will sell your course.
Yes, I love that. I think research is so important. I think it took me a while to really get comfortable. Let me not say comfortable, to not just be lazy. Okay, let me just say to not be lazy and to
Transparency.
do a little research. So now I even like same thing. Whenever I create something new, I just kind of take myself through this little process of like, who am I talking to? And, how do I really want to serve them? What are they really struggling with? Let me go in some groups. Let me go and, online, do some research, like you said, see what people are actually saying. What's the language? I don't think people realize how beneficial that initial research is going to be for you, because it's just going to lay the foundation for everything when it comes to your marketing and your copy and how you do your website and what do you say online and, the pain points you want to address. Like, that initial research is going to save you so much headache from pushing your stuff and then getting discouraged because it's not selling, not realizing that if you would have done the research from the beginning, not only would you have created something better, but now you know how to market it effectively. And so I just think that's so smart and so important. Like, I don't know if you're like into human design or any of that stuff, but I'm like into human design. So I don't know if you're like a line one or something like that, but they are like the research nerds and like the ones that go all the way down.
Yes. Like, I can't help it. I'm like, and this is what I tell my clients, just allow yourself to go down that rabbit hole. Right. Just do it, because when you do it up front, seriously, it's not, like you said, it's the framework, right? When you do it up front, you don't have to worry about it later. But so many people try to skip it to try to get to the instant gratification. And it's like, well, we don't want to build those houses. You look at houses that were built back in the 1960s, etc. And then you look at houses that are just being thrown up today. It's in 2030, 2023. Like, it's, there's a difference. There's a structural difference. And so you just want to make sure that you're just lay the right foundation. Just take the time to do it. Because if you have to do it later, now you're doing double the work. Now you're wasting double the time, double the energy. It's just not worth it. Just do it right the first time.
Let me tell everybody, don't be like me. I'm a line 3-5, right? So I'm one of those people that has to bump into things and experience.
Oh, you're deep into it. You're deep into human design.
So I bumped into every damn thing, like that raggedy course, until I figured out that the research was important, So I just think it's important. Just get it right from the beginning and don't make things harder. And this is the importance of working with people and investing in yourself and not being afraid to invest in yourself. Like, first of all, how are you going to put something out there you want other people to pay for, but you have a scarcity mindset wrapped around spending and investing in something that is going to propel you? Like, I don't want to take forever to be, as amazing as I can be. So, like, get the support, because now you have instruction and now you don't have to bump into things necessarily like I did to experience the loss and the failures and the mistakes and all the things, when you could have just got it right from Jump Street and jump first.
That's it.
Your coin, honey. So I love it. And I think that's just so dope. I do know that you have a lot of ways to support us, right? But I also know that you mentioned that you have a 30-minute class or something like that. Something I might have to like see my email pop up. You'd be like, this girl, when to watch my class. I sure did. A 30-minute class helping them get started with their premium online course. Definitely tell us about that.
Absolutely. So it's quick, it's straight to the point. It goes through my entire framework of 7 steps. Super easy. A lot of people say it's simple. You just follow the steps. And so you can go to jumpfirstacademy.org to check it out. Again, it's jumpfirstacademy.org. And yeah, it's super simple. A lot of people love it. Even my clients, when they come through, they're like, you just follow the steps. It's not that hard. Just follow the steps. Again, that comes with the territory when you are passionate about what you're doing, when you're sharing and you're walking in your expertise. I always say you don't have to create the lane that you were designed for, right? That God intended you to walk. And so you just walk in that lane and, they come in, and plus it doesn't hurt being over 5 years old at this point. And so, a lot of the blueprint is just laid out. And so it's simple. You just follow the steps. So you'll see lots of examples, tips, all that stuff there. We even have a guide that you can go ahead and download as well that is going to walk you through those steps also. So jumpfirstacademy.org.
Yeah, it's definitely going to link all of that. If you guys are watching us on YouTube or the podcast, I always put the links inside of the description or the show notes. So definitely go get the video, get started, and then join her stuff. So that way you can actually now create the thing God has called you to create. I just want to thank you so much for your time today. I definitely want to have you back because I have so many more questions, not just about online courses, but also about like luxury online coaching and premium coaching packages and all of that. It's just, I can definitely go down the rabbit hole.
I would love
But I
that.
would love to hear your thoughts on that topic as well. So we definitely have to get you back again, girl. Okay.
For
So
sure.
like you were today, come on back to Biz Breakthroughs Podcast.
Yes.
Definitely want to thank you again for your time. This has been phenomenal and very, very
Thank
informative.
you.
And I'm positive people are going to take something good from this. And hopefully they jump first. And hopefully they go download the good stuff, because I know I am. Okay. So y'all
I
have
appreciate
a
you.
girl. Make sure y'all go follow her. Go like all of her stuff. She's amazing online. Okay. She's funny. She's energetic. She's all the things the girlies want to be. So go check her out. We definitely will get her back for another episode. I love, love, love you guys. And I will see you guys on the next episode. Peace out.
Thank you, Stephanie.